Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. PDP crisis, I will crush my distractors, says Wike. Worst of insecurity is over, federal government tells Nigerians. FG suspends 5% tax on telecom services. Petrol scarcity looms as Ipman stops supply. How Tinubu's vision turned Lagos into a mega city. And Elizabeth Truss is British Prime Minister, and collapse building Lagos commissioner resigns. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, let me start with Telecom. So the federal government, through the budget office of the Federation, had revealed that it would begin the implementation of proposed excise duties on telecommunication services and beverages in 2023. But the Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Pantami, was saying that he does not think that this is right to do that. Already that particular sector is overburdened. That this ICT telecommunication sector has been sort of like the backbone of our economy for a while. It's making so much contributions to our GDP. And even as it is now, even with the contributions, they are taxed. And this excise, extra 5% will just overburden them. And the thing is, this will be moved on to the consumers. It will be heavy on Nigerians. So he is not, he does not agree with this extra 5% that the federal government is looking to add. And we'll see how his view, how it would affect what the federal government decides to do going forward. But I think that his opinion is valid, really. Yeah. We should not overburden the sector just because they can afford it, but overburden it to the point that, you know, Nigerians are going to suffer on top of it. All right,
so there was a 30-minute documentary that was released yesterday that was describing Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the pathfinder of Lagos State, and it was telling the story of his exploits from how he became governor of Lagos State and the various things he did. I mean, if you watch the video, it's quite instructive of the various things he has done. It's how he envisioned, and that was what really stuck out from that video was the fact that he was a visionary leader. I had a vision for the rail line, the metro line, which initially started by Lateef Jakonde, but he was able to put out a 25-year plan, which you all know. And he has classmates from the Chicago State University, and also an auditor from the Mobile Oil Producing Company came to verify that he went to school there, and he also worked at Mobile. I mean, it was a really intense documentary, and I think the documentary is coming too late, because this is an information that we should have known about Asiwaju Bola Tinubu years before today. But it was quite an informative documentary, and I think it's worth watching just to have an idea behind the stories we hear on social media, the perceptions people develop. Mm-hmm. And you go read the documentary or watch the documentary to have the true perspective of this person that is running for president.
Okay, so I have the...
Okay, which one do you want to take?
What's
the insecurity? Take it.
Okay, no,
take it.
Okay, so yesterday at the media briefing, or joint news briefing yesterday between 4 ministries, the Minister for Information, Minister for Defense, and the Minister for Police Affairs and that of Interior, Aregbesola, were all briefing and saying that the worst of insecurity is over in Nigeria. That, you know, they are not saying it is totally over. They're saying that the joint efforts of our military and other security agencies is producing enough result. They went on to say that we would not see the kind, you know, of the Kaduna-Abuja train attack again, because that area is very safe now. The Abuja-Kaduna road is also very safe now. They're giving us inventory of all the areas that are safe, but as it is now, the same article, I love that the nation also took inventory of certain recent attacks, the kidnap of the DPO, and, you know, the kidnap again of the person, the
7 million
go between, and, you know, several other areas that are still porous. I hope that, you know, while they were taking this briefing, they took all that into cognizance.
Any other story, Wike?
No, they also talked about the Kuje prison, because the Minister Aregbesola was there.
Yes. So I have that story in another paper. I wanted to drop this.
Oh, really? So they talked about that also? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Punch. No agreement with Tinubu, can insist. Talks tough. Earthquake kills over 40, destroys homes in China. Fraud. EFCC arraigns Ogun Speaker. Assemblies, 10 witnesses. 4 more building collapse. 4 more building collapse corpses recovered, and commissioner resigns. 5,307 kidnap robbery suspects arrested in 2 months. FG suspends 5% telecoms tax on calls and data. Flooding killed 372 persons in 8 months, says NEMA. And 11 state varsities shun ASU, FG threatens unions. And BPE raises panel to revive dying government-owned companies. Okay.
The building collapsed.
Yes.
So they found another 4 bodies yesterday. And they're still searching. And those people were actually sleeping in the building. And then the commissioner resigned, and his resignation was taken over, was accepted by the governor, who wished him well and says he's going to restructure that ministry.
Well,
okay. So let me take the picture story. So while our own incompetence, I guess, is causing deaths in China, they had the ones from nature, an earthquake. They said was a massive one, magnitude 6.8 earthquake, where it killed more than 40 people. 46 people were killed in the quake, as the Chinese media says. And, a few reports, a few of them said that they had an earthquake in June, but wasn't as serious as this one that they just had an experience and all the lives and properties that were lost. So,
does earthquake even warnings? I just wonder.
Sometimes, when we hear, when people get I think a short warning. They get a short warning. There will be tremors. They start to get that.
Okay, so I have the major headlines. So Khan had to come out yesterday because they were speaking. Let me find out the person. There was the spokesperson. The statement by the spokesperson was saying, Luminous Jana Mike was speaking on behalf of Khan yesterday, saying that they read a report that talked about the fact that the attention of Khan was drawn to a media report titled How Tinubu Met and Resolved the Muslim Ticket with Khan. He was saying that is false. That yes, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came for Reverend Kuka's 70th birthday party, no doubt, and he made some donations, but that doesn't change their stand, that they're definitely vehemently against the Muslim ticket. And yes, they've had conversations, but their position has not changed. And because he came for the party does not mean that they're changing their position, that they're still insisting that the Muslim ticket is not the right approach for the coming elections. So I think that's the nutshell of that report.
In a good precedent, the Ogun State House of Assembly Speaker has been charged to court by the FCC, and the counts are about 11 of them. Himself, along 3 others, are charged for having diverted 2.475 billion money meant to run the affairs of the House. And the FCC, these people are not immune. So when we see lawmakers being investigated and some people are carrying sentiments around, it bothers me. But this is a good precedent. The FCC have already charged him. They arrested him initially. They investigated him, and they granted him bail. But now he's supposed to come back and resume his defense. So great.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for still reviewing the papers. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Banditry terrorism will end December, says federal government. Kanu's detention, FG not bothered about insecurity in Southeast, says Igbo youths. ASU strike, TUC urges FG to borrow to end crisis and fund education. Al Pepe Ayu and gang, says Wike. Lagos commissioner resigns as death toll in collapsed building rises to 6. Tinubu Shetima won't distance themselves from Buhari's government, says APC. Kuje attack, 888 inmates escaped from prison, says reps. And FG suspends 5% duty on Telecom service. Okay, I was going to take Governor Wike, because, Governor Wike, this matter of PDP is yet to end, because Governor Wike, yes, he has tagged those people, Ayu and his gang, small boys. According to Governor Wike, while he was commissioning the Osisioma flyover, he was saying that one of his friends, people as Ikpeazu, was asking him in the plane that he should just leave everything to God. He said, why are we overcrowding God? I have what it takes to crush them. Governor Wike, he's a vibe. He says, he said, there are children, that Let us stop crowding them. I would crush them. He'd say, obviously, he was saying it himself, based on his conversation with Ikpeazu in the plane, saying that he has what it takes to crush them, and God has given him the power to crush his enemies. So now that I know I have capacity to flog these small boys, you want me to leave it for God? I won't do that. I am going to flog them pepperly. When we start, yes, pepperly. When we start campaign, we will know who is who. Hey, Wike,
He also said, what is important is when the time comes, we will know when the jungle matures. We will know. He says, when the jungle matures, we will know those who can stand crisis. He said, look at what they said. They said, your governor, Abia State, is a boy. That Wike is a boy. Sheyi is a boy. Oton is a boy. Ugwany is a boy. But see what boys are doing. Tell them that as men, they should know us, what they have done.
In addition, look, nobody should bother about any abuse on me. I am too much for it. I don't even know when I'm abused. If they like, let them put everything on social media and abuse me. At the end, you will know who is relevant or not.
Yeah, don't chopo.
Scene 4, Wike, pass to you. Are you ready?
Am I ready? If they understand the modus operandi of what we are doing, they won't waste their time. If you like, go and meet Ikpeazu. If you like, go and meet Sheyi. If you like, go and meet Oton. And if you like, go and meet Gwanyu. Fine. I pity them. People think the relationship can be bought with money.
See what is
It's a lot more, but we can't continue.
We have the movie soundtrack.
You guys are crazy. You soon get the call.
I should say the government has just approved the additional recruitment of 1,500 teachers, and this is because there's an existing gap between teacher-student ratio, and he's been working in the 45 months to see how he can revamp the educational sector. He says the area that needs teachers is the rural areas especially, and so this manpower, they will be considered first in this recruitment exercise, and he's brought the number since he started recruiting these teachers to 2,500, and they did this exercise of recruiting these teachers. They say they did it properly. They used in collaboration with JAM to do this.
Okay, moving on quickly now to Vanguard. 48 hours to NEC meeting. PDP says for make or mass session. We're working on bringing relief to Eastern Port, says Bello Koko, NPA boss. Portals for obese campaign funds open next week, says Patutomi. Fresh nationwide strike looms in power sector. Cabinet resignations begin as Liz Truss becomes new UK Prime Minister. Kuje prison attack for 65 well-armed operatives were on guard, Aregbesola tells reps panel. Kidnappers of 32 Ondo Bureau guests demand 90 million naira ransom. And Muslim ticket, revisit decision, Northeast, North Central, APC, stakeholders task, NWC. Okay, I was going to take...
Very quickly.
Go ahead.
The power sector strike. So you remember I told you that they have flight on our head. So they had got, yes, the power sector there was a shutdown of our entire, by the Labour side of the power sector. And they just sort of blacked out everybody in the country. But they quickly were called and they suspended that strike. And now they're looking at it 2 weeks after to go back again and do the same. And this is because they are blaming government agencies, the BP and all other agencies, for harassing members of the union and also shying away from meeting the major demands. One of the key demands was that, ex-entitlement, benefits of ex-PHCN staff was paid since the privatization, and that, they've been negotiating back and forth with the necessary agencies to see that these benefits were paid, and they've always had to, step down, compromise, and government seem not to be willing to pay. Now they did this strike where they had to shut down everything and government intervened. The Minister for Power had talked to them, but till now, nothing has been done. They keep shying away from this. So we're looking at another blackout in a short while. They're giving their warning again, and I hope that before action happens.
This reminds me of the tweet I saw where the Nigerians are saying, we are getting worried. This light is too much.
Yes,
they are giving you to save it.
Yes.
Save it.
This light, I beg. They will just
somebody said it to me yesterday too. That was complaining that
yes,
the electricity is a bit what's going on. That
yes.
You come to the house and everything is cold. The fridge is cold. You can't even drink water.
I now have to be taking off things because the meter is just running.
Yes.
And that one said he's just happy. Just seeing lights makes him just happy.
I was in a
brings
bed.
happiness.
It was 24 hours.
It's of stress.
24 hours. No
Exactly.
Man.
People just smile.
And now they now issue this thing that Ali Moshon area, they are
blackout for a few days. They're working on it. But people are now smiling, and a few people have seen that they're just happy.
And you know that gen noise in the background in Lagos.
I can't stand gen.
Okay, I have a report here. Peter Obi's party, Labour Party, the chieftain, Professor Patutomi, has said that they're going to open a portal to raise funds for the presidential candidate. And although while he was speaking, the interviewer was concerned if it was not against the laws for people outside the country to donate. He said when he ran for office, that during his own campaign, people donated funds. So it shouldn't be a problem. He said it shouldn't be a problem. They said that no law should oppose the funding of political rallies from the diaspora. They are completely aware of what the law says. If you open a portal, Nigerians will be aware, and then they will support as much as they can.
It shouldn't be against the law.
Yeah, I don't think
Why should it be? When the people from diaspora are sending money here, is that one against the law?
No.
Yeah. I wanted to take the Akure, the abductors. They were coming from a burial, and they kidnapped them, and they're asking for 90 million, between 3 and 10 million per victim. One of the victims who escaped said they just came onto the road with AK-47s, cutlasses. They stopped them, and they marched some of them into the bush. He said he escaped. They told him to go and get his bag in the bus, and then he just crouched there till they left.
Okay, let's move on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. President insecurity, Nigeria's greatest threat since civil war, says federal government. 44 kidnapped Zamfara worshippers working on bandits' plantations. Terrorists vowed to kill DPO in captivity despite paying 7 million naira ransom.
Wow.
Kidnappers demands 90 million for release of the travelers in Ondo. Nobody can break my rank, says Wike. Murtala approves recruitment of 1,500 teachers. And EFCC files 11 charges against Ogun Speaker. I am tired of this country. 14-year-old boy found inside parked aircraft says.
Yeah, I got that story. Yeah. So I don't know if you heard the story. I think it was yesterday or a few days ago. The stowaway was found in one of the aircrafts at...
Lagos?
Yes, Lagos here. So he was found unconscious and he's been revived. He said he's 14 years old and his name is Rasheed Mufutau, and that he was just tired of the country. He's an orphan. And then he explained how he got access onto the aircraft, which is what is so scary. I mean, thank God he's just a 14-year-old boy, you know, with no ill intentions that got into that aircraft. But it just shows that there is a problem, there's porosity. So they explained that he gained access into the airside through an opening at the Ile Zik fan perimeter fence along the Lagos-Abeokuta expressway. He explained how he was able to evade them, that he saw workers, but he was able to crouch like behind bushes until he got into the plane. They asked why he was unconscious. He said he had taken some drugs and then no ventilation, of course, where he was. So that's why he was unconscious. But it is scary that someone can just find their way into an aircraft without being apprehended.
The Zamfara worshippers that were abducted, the intelligence that Tribune is relying on says that the bandits say that their harvest, their maize and whatever is ripe for harvest, and their captives have no other job to do but to help work at their plantation. And I'm hoping that this report will at least provoke a reaction from our security agencies. Since we are saying that we have conquered the insecurity, I would love to see that, you know, they go into that place and save those people, because now they're working like slaves on some bandits plantation.
They're not even asking for ransom for them.
Yes.
They need them to work on their plantation.
Imagine.
I think the most scary part is the kidnappers have plantation.
They have government, they have kings, they have they are turbaning, they are getting married, they have everything.
That's all we can
Plantation is the list of the things they have.
The picture on the Nigerian Tribune was really interesting, seeing these young pupils of the St. Paul's Catholic School, Apapa Road, cleaning their school as resumption. And that's something that's just fun to watch to see kids in uniform. It's just a
I
nice...
did like it in my primary school, making us sweep.
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, we move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.